Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our school board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We'll begin by having our invocation. The invocation this morning will be by Area Superintendent Pat Wright, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and our national anthem. If we could please stand.
Let us pray. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all of your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our school events, and for each and every scholar, for our staff members, both the teaching and support members. We ask that you bless them abundantly, and we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Give us insight to lead with integrity, that our decisions may reflect what is right and good. Keep us from short-sightedness and pettiness. Help us to make decisions that are for the good of all, and guard us from blind self-interest. Dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. All glory be to you, loving God, now and always, through Christ and the Holy Spirit, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hi everybody, we are the Syndicated Sound Octet. We're from Tarpon Springs High School, and we're going to be performing an original piece written for our show entitled Just Like the Sun, No Trace of Hope.
Should have seen it coming, should have known the score, should have read the history books, 'cause this tale's been told before. Every doorway has been locked, every exit has been blocked, and here we are, trapped inside a cage. We don't have the power, we don't have a prayer. All we have within our hearts is shame and despair. The only choice we have is to obey when there's no trace of hope. up in chains, but it doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't matter anymore. Past has been erased, and we're left without a trace of hope.
I know the future's never looked so bleak. I know our spirits never felt so weak. But I just can't concede this fight. I just can't lay down and play dead. Not while there's breath still in my body. Not while there's dreams still in my head. Just like the sun, we will rise again. We will shine the light of a new day.
Shine a light
And vanquish the darkness of the night. You may be down, but it's always darkest just before the dawn. And just like the sun, we will rise on. And even though the night is cold, the darkness hides a deadly foe. The fear that grips your heart is overwhelming.
just below the ground. There is a power so astounding. With a blinding light, it will burn through the night on its way back around.
On its way
And just like the sun,
we
we
will
will rise again.
rise
We will
again.
shine the light of a new day.
Shine the light.
and vanquish the
There
dark.
is no doubt the night's almost done. There is no doubt this war will be won. Here comes the dawn.
Here comes the dawn.
And
Just like the sun.
we will rise
Everybody, that's the Tarpon Springs High School Syndicated Sound Choral Group under the direction of Charles Chessman. The second song that they performed, No Trace of Hope, Just Like the Sun, was absolutely wonderful. Thank you. We had our own rendition of a Broadway musical first thing this morning. So thank you, students. That was absolutely wonderful. Wow. Our video this morning, October 2nd, was International Walk to School Day, celebrating the joys of walking as well as promoting pedestrian and bicycle safety. The event, which began in 1997, involves communities from more than 40 countries. Thousands of schools across America from all 50 states, plus the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, participate, including our schools right here in Pinellas County. Let's take a look at how Cross Bayou Elementary celebrated the day along with their partners from the Pinellas Park Police and Fire Departments.
Well, today was our walk to school event, and actually it's a walk and bike to school, so it's really promoting pedestrian bicycle safety. And we have the Pinellas Park Police, Pinellas Park Fire Department out to help. They help all the kids get across 66. But we're also promoting that they use crossing guards when children are crossing to get to school and how safe that is. And then we have them all come to school. They get some great goodies. This has been going on for obviously a long time for us. And we have a great relationship with our Pinellas Park Police Department and the Fire Department. They come out every year.
we're very appreciative of that. A number of schools participated with that, and we always want to make sure that we're reminding drivers to please stop behind that red sign that comes out from the bus, and please be mindful of our little scholars. So next, we will certainly have an introduction of our guests and others that are here today by Lisa M. Wolf-Chasen, our Public Information Officer.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Grego and staff, it is my pleasure to introduce the following representatives of community and professional organizations. Representing the Pinellas Educational Support Professionals Association, Nellie Henez. With the Pinellas Classroom Teachers Association, Mike Gandolfo. Representing both PESPA and PCTA, Joanne McCall. With SEIU and the Florida Public Services Union, Talmadge Andrews and Rebecca Dean. And with the Pinellas Arts for a Complete Education Coalition, Dr. Victoria Hagedorn. Today there are no members of media in attendance, and we'll have a presentation from the Student Rights and Responsibilities Committee. Please welcome from Tarpon Springs High School, Madeline McCreary and Alex Theophilopoulos.
Thank you for having us. And before we start our presentation, I would like to give a huge round of applause to our Syndicated Sound Octet. They're amazing. Again, I'm Alex, the current Executive Board President at Tarpon Springs High School.
And I'm Madeline McCreary, the current Senior Class President. We're honored to speak here today and give a rundown on all things Tarpon High. This year at Tarpon Springs High School is an exciting one. Working alongside the yearbook team, we're putting in the effort to revitalize school pride little by little, including bringing back the Maroon Mob. Despite this small setback, we've maintained an extremely close relationship with the city of Tarpon Springs. We hold an annual homecoming parade, complete with police escorts and closing of main roads, which would not be possible without their support. We're also extremely fortunate to hold a yearly bonfire after skit night at Sunset Beach, a school-wide treasured event. The Leadership Conservatory program has created an unprecedented culture here at Tarpon High. With over 300 students in our marching band, it's understandable that the fabric of our school has been greatly affected. Last year, the marching band placed 5th overall in Grand Nationals, bringing a deep sense of pride to Tarpon. By having the marching band participate in school events, such as football games, the dynamic has been changed for the better, and a new energy can be seen in the crowd. We're also very proud of how our volunteer organizations are able to give back to the community in both big and small ways. Our National Honor Society, Interact Club, and Key Club all help keep a close relationship with the city of Tarpon Springs, allowing every student the chance to contribute.
Next is our curriculum and academics at Tarpon. Our college-level ACE program has shown great success both on the basis of diploma recognition and individual test scores. Since the first graduating ACE class at Tarpon 5 years ago, 69% of our students have received an ACE diploma. This past year, we had a student earn our first ACE Diploma of Distinction, which is the highest honor. On our ACE General Papers exam, we have had a cumulative pass rate of 94%, which is well above the global average. Our Jacobson Culinary Arts program continues to excel both in and out of the kitchen. They have recently participated in many community outreach programs and have even supplied our SGA with 400 cupcakes for our homecoming dance. Additionally, the veterinary science program is in a new stage of growth with a new advisor and a very large freshman class. In terms of statewide testing, we have shown significant increases in our proficiency in ELA, mathematics, and science.
There have been many concrete improvements to the school in the past year as well. We revealed a brand new conservatory building this summer that drastically improves the environment our students operate in. The band and orchestra programs are very excited to call this their new home, and our choral department recently received a new room completely renovated. One structural change that benefits all students at Tarpon is the beautiful new courtyard in the heart of the school and greatly improved drainage system. Thank goodness we don't have to swim to class anymore on rainy days. Our athletes get to play this season in a completely renovated gymnasium, a much-needed upgrade for all the hard work they put in. We've also been able to provide students with new computer labs throughout the campus for various programs, allowing students to achieve success in new ways. While these changes may seem surface level, their effect goes much deeper, letting our students know we care about them, and we've seen how this affects the overall mindset in these first 9 weeks of school.
Our students have given us countless reasons to brag in the past year. Let me name just a few to round out this presentation. Our new mathematics team has accumulated dozens of awards, including first-place statistics and pre-calculus individuals at regionals, along with a third-place statistics team. We also had a student, one of our mathletes, place second in the state for statistics. I'd say that's pretty impressive. In this year's National Merit Scholarship Competition, 5 of our students were named commended scholars, scoring in the top 50,000 of over 1 million test takers. And 1 was named a semifinalist, scoring in the top 16,000 of this 1 million test takers. This is our first semifinalist in over 10 years. On the court, our volleyball team hit their way to the state Final Four competition, and all 3 seniors received scholarships to play in college. On a very different court, our girls' tennis team also advanced to the state competition at Redbug last May, along with the individual boys and first seed doubles team. But wait, there's more. We've had individuals representing Tarpon at the Golf State Series Finals, the Swimming State Tournament, and the Track State Meet. We may be one of the smallest schools in the county, but we do everything big. Thank you.
That you do, and you did a wonderful job today. I see a couple of lights. Ms. Long, students, scholars, scholars. Ms. Long has something she'd like to say to you.
First of all, you are all wonderful. Dr. Grego, board members, Alex and Madeline brought some baklava for us, and it's in the back.
Oh.
So thank you for the wonderful treat. You guys are wonderful.
I just want to know who's going to help me run these next 2-3 miles. Because I am going to eat a piece of baklava.
You're on your own.
Thank you all so much. That was so nice. Thank you. Great job, students.
Ms. Flowers?
Thank you. Yes,
if I may, yeah. Hang on for a second. I love you because you're dying to get back to school, right? Yeah. Alex, stand up for a second, please. You know, Alex was the student who was talking about that one student with the Ace Cambridge that reached the highest. He was talking about a student. It is him, Alex, and also. And also, Alex was embedded in his comments that there was one student for the first time in 10 years about that reached the National Merit Scholar. We have 23 in the district that also is Alex. So we thank you for representing your school very well. Just a tremendous job. And we have Lisa Fedelitis, the principal here, the proud principal of Tarpon Springs. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to share some of Alex's. He was being very modest about talking about the school, but he contributes greatly to that school. Thank you. Yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous. That's the strength and sign of a leader.
All right. Now you can go.
All rise.
Thank you.
I was about to say, sit back down. No, I couldn't.
They were afraid to get up.
Yeah. Oh, that was really nice. Absolutely nice. Moving on to amendments to the agenda, I do understand that we have a couple of amendments to the agenda. For those individuals that will be having comments to make regarding abstention, you would do so before the adoption of the agenda. So I just wanted to make sure you knew when that time was. So Dr. Grego will go first, and then we'll move on. Dr. Grego, any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair and Board. We just have one, and as I've been mentioning to you, we're 8.1, which is our 5-year capital outlay. Mr. Smith and Mr. Herbeck have been working diligently, but however, the state did put up the projected 5-year plan. However, it was populated with inaccurate information. So we contacted the state as of last Friday, I believe, Friday over the weekend. They apologized for that. We're going to start all over. I think we will definitely be having this as a board agenda item for October 22nd. I am addressing this with the Superintendent's Association and others to see if we can streamline this. This is really something that's typically done in August in the first part of September and should be in with the board's approval with the budget in the second budget hearing. So I keep putting it on the agenda because I think the public deserves to understand and see that this board is being responsive. Thank you. That's the only amendment.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm pulling number 7.16, so I'm abstain from voting on that contract.
Okay. Thank you very much. And then when we get to that point, to those points, there's specific information you'll read on at that time. All right. So do we have an adoption of the agenda with the requested changes to the agenda?
Move approval of the agenda as amended. Second.
We have a motion with a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Do we have any that oppose? Motion carries unanimously. We now move on to our special order agenda. The first will be the presentation of a proclamation. The next two, 4.2 and 4.3, will go down so that we can shake their hands and celebrate with them upon their honor. Dr. Grego?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is one of my favorite board meetings of the year because we're recognizing bus drivers, and they're so key to the success of our school district. For the first presentation is a proclamation recognizing National School Bus Safety Week, October 21st through the 25th. And to present this proclamation, I'd like to call upon a new director, T. Mark Hagewood, to the microphone. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Grego, and staff. The third week of October will be School Bus Safety Week, and we are here to celebrate our school bus drivers today. And we're also going to read the proclamation. Would you like for me to read it, or one of the board members read it?
Yeah, I wanted to read this one, y'all, because I like to hang out with the bus drivers.
We'd like for you to hang out with us.
And I'm going to ask, can I get permission to drive a bus one day? But we'll talk about that, Mr. Clint Herbie.
We will sign you up.
He said they're going to sign me up. Proclamation for National School Bus Safety Week. My school bus, the safest form of student transportation. Whereas the health and safety of all students is essential to the happiness and well-being of the families, teachers, and communities. And whereas the exemplary safety performance exhibited each day by almost 15,000 school bus operators on Florida roads ensures the highest level of safety for other motorists and student riders. And whereas students are 70 times more likely to get to school safely when taking a bus instead of traveling by car. And whereas school buses provide the most and sometimes only reliable form of transportation to and from school, which promotes attendance and punctuality and encourages better student achievement. And whereas motorists must remember to stop when a school bus has stopped, with its stop arms extended and red lights flashing. And whereas school bus transportation employees should be recognized for their diligence in safely transporting the school children of Pinellas County. Whereas local organizations are encouraged to support student and traffic safety activities associated with National School Bus Safety Week. And everyone is reminded to keep a watchful eye for students going to and from school and to take extra precautions around students and school buses. And now, therefore, we, the Pinellas County School Board, do hereby recognize National School Bus Safety Week during the week of October 21st through the 25th, 2019, adopted this 8th day of October. Do we have a motion to accept the proclamation?
Will we accept the proclamation?
It's been a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And colleagues, if we could all go down so that we can join hands. Thank you so very much for all that you do.
So board members and the general public, this is Always been a great day where we recognize our bus drivers with safe driving records, and so we appreciate. I want to take a moment and say thank you to every single bus driver, everyone in our transportation department, the mechanics, route coordinators, all of the jobs, because it is a huge undertaking to transport students to and from school. So thank you, T. Mark, for the job that you're doing, and you're going to recognize some with safe driving records.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We're fortunate in our district to have highly trained school bus drivers. We have 66 school bus drivers that have over 10 years of safe driving, and we're going to be having a luncheon on October 24th at the Gus A. Stavros for all 66 drivers. Today, we're recognizing drivers that have over 15 years of safe driving. There are 27 of those drivers, and we have several of them here today. So as I call your name, please come up. Miss Valita Jackson, she has 19 years of service and 19 years of safe driving.
Damaris, do you want the drivers to stay up here? Okay, the drivers could stay up.
Tiffany Roshin, she has 18 years and 18 years of safe driving. We have Miss Janie Dutcher. She has 16 years and 16 years of safe driving. Kay Roberts, she also has 16 years and 16 years of safe driving. Marcia Mells Wilson, she also has 18 years and 16 years of safe driving. Jahida Valentine, she has 16 years and 16 years of safe driving. Mr. Rufus Woodard, he's our most senior driver at 36 years and 16 years of safe driving. Regina Hearn Walker, she has 26 years and 15 years of safe driving. And Robert Ridgway, he has 15 years and 15 years of safe driving. Yes, sir. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Board members, our final recognition is that of the School Bus Driver of the Year, and T. Mark's
Yes, sir.
going to.
we do have School Bus Driver of the Year. We started this program back in 2015, 2016, and the drivers, we get 8 drivers a year that are nominated for Compound Driver of the Month, and they're nominated through the schools, through their peers, through parents. And this year, we have Mr. James Kroll. Mr. Kroll started his career with us in 2011, and he was selected by several supervisors, co-workers, and teachers, and he goes the extra mile every day. Come on up, Mr. Kroll.
Congratulations.
Trust me, I know. My wife told me to take off my glasses, so. Do what you want to know.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Gruhl,
you.
and thank you to all of our drivers and our entire transportation department. That concludes our presentation, board members. T. Mark, you did a good job. You can relax.
We'll move on to public comments. Ms. Simonetta, do we have any speakers signed up under public comments?
Board members and Dr. Grego, we have one speaker this morning for specific agenda items. Mark Clutho will speak to consent number 17, 18, 22, 24, and 26.
Mark Clutho, Largo. Here we go. 17 for engineering design services. Chiller replacement, $117,750. That's just for the design. But then you still have the stupid dumb building. And the carbon's going into the atmosphere. And then for this contract for administration services, for the new administration building and renovation of buildings 2 and 3, construction management, $745,000. For Orange Grove Elementary School. Oh boy, another boondoggle. And then we have another HVAC at Anona. And then the completion of a cooling tower at Northeast High. And metal replacement at Palm Harbor University High School. Ooh. And then the substantial completion for the chiller at Starkey. All the while, the buildings continue to be stupid, dumb buildings that belch the carbon. So what do we have? The sixth extinction, an unnatural history. Cause and effect. That's what you bring. And Category 5 hurricanes, the new normal. Yeah. What happens to those schools when the Category 5s come? Yeah. Not pretty. And of course, what did Winston Churchill say? We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us.
There are no further speakers this morning.
No unfinished business. Moving on to the consent agenda. We will be voting on the consent agenda minus the items 7.14, 7.15, and 7.16. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move approval.
There was a motion with a second. I'm not sure Dudley and Long who. Okay. Okay. We have a motion with a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Do we have any that are opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 7.14. Do I need to take these individually, or can I take these two together since they're the same person?
You can take them together.
Okay. So moving on to item 7.14 and 7.15, Ms. Lentino?
Is there a,
It's the language here that you would need to read into the record, please.
oh, all right.
Thank you.
I have pulled this item so that I can abstain from voting on it.
Thank you. Does someone, I need someone else to make a motion, please, and someone else to second.
Motion.
That's a motion. Do I have someone make a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we will go ahead and vote on that particular item. That will be with the exception of Ms. Long. We just did, okay, so, thank you. I mean, Ms. Lentino, I'm sorry. We will reflect that this was a six-person vote affirming with the one abstention. Moving on to item 7.16, Ms. Kane.
Yes, I need to abstain from voting on this item. My husband is the chairman of the board for the Pinellas County Housing Finance Authority, which is the opposing party in the contract, so I need to abstain.
Do we have a motion with a second from someone other than Ms. Kane?
Motion. Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Do we have any that are opposed? Motion reflects a six-person vote affirming due to the one abstention. Thank you so very much. Moving on to, we've pulled the non-consent agenda items, so we do not have any non-consent agenda items. Moving on to new items introduced by the board superintendent.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and to the board, thank you. It's been a really busy few weeks. I want to first by saying happy birthday to our board chair, and also congratulations to Ms. Flowers, who is being recognized or will be recognized as one of the finalists for the Council of Great City Schools, the Green Gardener Award. And every other year, they recognize an outstanding board member, and the opposite year, the outstanding supervisor. I was blessed enough to be recognized a few years ago, and here we have one of our board members too. So thank you. Look forward to that recognition and the banquet in October, the latter part of October, October 24th. So congratulations. We're proud of you, and also the positive attention that it brings to Pinellas County School District nationally. So thank you so much. So, you know, some of you were able to attend the governor's visit, and we're happy that he came back to his alma mater, Dunedin High School. And there's a lot of chatter and a lot of attention given to teacher compensation, and this board has made it their top priority. And I know later on, I think Ms. Cook and others, we met because based on our legislative discussion, I think Senator Brandis asked if we could prioritize some things, and because we weren't having a workshop, we went ahead and met and as a starting point, just as a starting point, and maybe at the end, Madam Chair, we can either endorse this to give to him. But yesterday certainly was a indication that many leaders in the state really do want to make a positive impact on teachers' salaries across the board. So thank you for your participation. You have my commitment that I'll continue to work with all of our elected officials to try to get this concept across some sort of finish line so it's reasonable, it makes sense, it works for our teachers, and it works for all this board too. So I will continue to have the conversation as it actually started last evening after that announcement, and we'll continue on. So thank you for participation. After that, I went to the College and Career Fair, Countryside High School. 150 exhibitors, the largest college and career fair I've ever been associated with. They do a fabulous job. That whole entire mall area, Countryside High School, is just filled with universities from throughout and colleges and technical colleges throughout the area and throughout the United States. And just say thank you to Countryside High School for always hosting it. It's a lot of work, but a lot of students and parents. There's probably over 1,200 students and parents who come through that in an evening. Also last Saturday, thank you to the entire community who came out, and there were literally hundreds and hundreds of people who came out to the Elisa Nelson Elementary School. To me, that was like a community homecoming. It wasn't a ribbon cutting as much as we did cut a ribbon, but it was, to me, it was a community homecoming to that school. I walked around that campus and I thought it was just a kind of dropped in from a little fairy tale. Kids are playing in the courtyard, teachers, community members. It all kind of came together. And I just want to thank our maintenance department, Mr. Herbeck. There's so many people. Sean Clark helped, Beth Herendine helped in the preparation of that. Hema Adia, the principal, has done a fabulous job of hiring and opening up that school. We had Commissioner Dave Eggers there, Jeff Nelson, and the entire Nelson family was there. And this was, as we said there, it was a piece of the journey. It's not the end of a journey, but it was a piece of this journey that we're going to continue on and literally educate hundreds and thousands of students at Nelson Elementary School. Also, in that same day, that morning, Chiva was sponsoring. They have raised over $300,000 in a boxcar rally in Clearwater. In Clearwater, Mayor Kritikos was out there too. In fact, he was also at the College and University College and Career Fair last night too. He's everywhere, the man with a camera, and he's always taking pictures. he does tremendous work. We really value our partnership. But Gary Rangoli, CEO of Achieva, sponsors this every year. And he sponsors it because he sees that families with young people getting together, building a project, it is one of those family, dad, sons, and family-oriented projects that he really loves. And a lot of fun raising money and come back into the grants into our school district. I've started my parent cadre meetings. They're very, very successful. We had over 40, 50 people at Gibbs the other evening, and the parents are enjoying just some quiet time, alone time with me, and we can talk about the progress of our district. And I always report that back to the board. I want to continue to place myself out there, but also have that secure time that parents, and these are leaders of our school district, the PTA presidents, the SAC chairs, and people who are really contributing a great deal of time and resources to support our principals. We were very successful this past week. We received, and I'm not going to go over the details of, but we received 2 federal grants actually probably 3. One, I noticed you on the gifted. That was a highly competitive grant, I think only 11 in the nation. We also received the Climate Transformation Grant. Only 80 grantees were awarded, and this was going to be, it's a 5-year grant, approximately $3.6 million, and this is a focus on middle school education and equitable practices. It's not in addition to, but these resources are going to be used to really enhance what Dr. Hines and many others are doing at the middle school years to try to really level the playing field and be working with our MTSS instructional staff too. So we're excited about that, excited about some of the activities that are going to be taking place at our middle school as based on these federal dollars. Also, we received a grant for about $500,000. It's called the Student Teachers and Officers Preventing, or STOP is an acronym, School Violence Grant. The 48 grantees were awarded nationally. So as a district, we are starting to really make a name for ourselves on a federal level, a national level, because it's very difficult and very competitive. This grant will run through this past October through September 30th of 2022. And it talks, and again, this is an enhancement of the threat assessment process that we've put in place with Chief Luke Williams and Mr. Herbeck and Dennis Russo. So we're not adding to, but rather we're using these dollars to support a very enhanced threat assessment process that we've established both at the school-based level and district level. We have a 5,000 role models of excellence induction. This is always a great evening. It's going to be at Johns Hopkins Middle School, October 10th. That's this Thursday, where we bring a lot of elementary and middle school young men, young scholars, and to be inducted into this in this program. We also have the ESOL Community Resource Fair that's coming up this October 15th, the next Tuesday at 6 to 7:30 at St. Petersburg College. I'm going to ensure that Ann has these events for your calendar. And this will be for our English of Speakers of Other Languages department. Will be partnering with the community organizations, so they make our families welcome, and any services that they need, we certainly will reach out to them. We had a college and career fair last night at Countryside High School. I very much applaud our ESE department and Lynn Mowat, because we have the ESE College and Life and Career and Life Fair that takes place in Pinellas Park High School. That's also October 17th. It's a busy day. It's going to be a busy day. In addition to that event, we have also the ribbon cutting at Pinellas Technical College, the reopening. It's not enough days in the week. We have a lot going on. We'll divide and conquer. That's at 6 p.m. And that's the reopening of a newly remodeled technical college at Clearwater, and that'll start at 6 p.m. on our Clearwater campus. Also coming up is that we have a lot of choice exploration fairs coming up. Our choice fairs will be starting at the end of this month, October 29th at Countryside, at November 2nd at Pinellas Park, and November 4th at Lakewood High School. I don't expect anybody to remember all these dates, but I do want to encourage you to go to our website. It's pcsb.org and then /choice. And it lists all of the dates, all of the times, and we keep all of those things up to date. So even though I bring it up during a board report, I don't expect the general public, but really let's continue to steer our families and our students to that website, pcsb.org/choice. That concludes my comments. Happy birthday again.
Do we have any comments from our school board attorney? Is that right?
No, thank you.
None from the school board attorney? Do we have any comments from board members? I see Ms. Long and then Ms. Carr.
Yes, last Wednesday night we had the ESE Advisory Committee. One of the things that we're going to be doing this year to help get parents involved is the meetings have always been held here at the Largo Administration Building. And Ms. Mowat has picked some, well, she didn't pick, but we picked some locations where we're going to take these meetings and go out to different areas. The first one will be Palm Harbor Middle School for North County. Then we're going to go down to Gibbs, and then we're going to an elementary, and Ms. Mowat, I forgot which one, I'm sorry. And then we will return back here in May. One of the things that during this conversation with parents is still our concern with getting communication out. A lot of parents came that said they didn't know until the last minute, teachers as well. So we are brainstorming, and we talked about Peach Jar, we talked about the websites. We still need, and I think this is a concern of getting the word out to parents for all of our different organizations to help. So that's a concern that maybe at a workshop, we still need to address how we can help these parents become involved with this committee. It is so important. We're looking at ways to increase our ESE delivery. Ms. Moat is doing a wonderful job. So I'd like that on the agenda next workshop or soon. Okay, I want to bring the board up to date.
Sounds good.
The things are happening.
Dr. Carr, then Ms. Cook, then Mr. Dudley.
Thank you, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
I had the opportunity to visit some schools since our last meeting, and I wanted to just share some of the amazing things that were taking place. I went out to Plum Elementary School, and the number of exemplar student works that were just found throughout the building was so impressive, and the intentionality of how the teachers have set up their room. You just saw evidence of so many incredible things with the science vocabulary being placed strategically, the interaction between the teachers and students, and just the overall climate was so positive where students were happy and engaged, and it was really amazing. And there are several ASD units there, and the inclusion and the environment of those classrooms was really fantastic, and it really modeled that least restrictive environment where we saw students engaged and not isolated in a way that we really have moved away from and we work so hard not to do. So it was really impressive, and I wanted to acknowledge that. And then also, I got the opportunity to do the walk to school with Ridgecrest Elementary School. We went from Rainbow Village, and it was so much fun, and they're doing such great work out there. And I saw how they had implemented, and I'm going to say it wrong, the Ranzuli program to really determine with, again, intention and very strategic thought, which programs to offer to which students. And it reminded me so much of what teaching used to be, where kids were, before accountability, and I'm a fan of accountability, I'm not moving us away from that, but just so much creativity was embedded in the enrichment activities, and kids got to self-select what they wanted to do and explore their passion for learning. And that's what sticks with our students. So I was really moved by that and wanted to share with the board how I know that was something we as a board approved, was that program and how they are using it so well. And also just a thank you to Mr. Smith and Amy for their work on the annual financial report. This beautiful picture is a student's piece of artwork, and it's so deceptive, is because it's like, don't judge a book by its cover, because the entire document is filled with all of our financial information, which is very dense. And I had to ask a lot of questions, and I really appreciate their time and patience as a new board member, really fully understanding this document. And I also wanted to share and make sure that everyone has a copy of this fantastic document of our calendar and parent guide, because it really has great information, key dates. Our principals and different folks are like of the month. It's not quite the firefighter catalog, but it's really good. And it has great information in here, as well as more student artwork. So I hope folks will take time to get this. It's available in English and Spanish, because it's such a great, we talk so much about communication, so that we're aware of it and you're out there getting it, hanging it on your wall, it's a great resource. And lastly, just to remind us as parents and actually not quite lastly, but to remind us as parents and family about the importance of the code of conduct. It's on our website, PCSB, and it's right under About in the drop down, that we take the time. So often in the beginning of the year, we get all these documents that were sent home, or we do it online and we fill it out and we just sign it. I really urge you to not wait until there's a difficult situation to read the code of conduct. Go over it with your students, refresh what's expected of them, and also, even I will admit myself, having reread it this past couple days, the piece about communication, and we sign off as parents what we're expected to do. And one of those things in there is that we will check on portal. We will also go to find information and not always have it delivered. So we have to sometimes go and look and see where it is. And that there was another really key piece about 30 minutes of reading. And I know what a challenge this is, you know, with our kids on electronic devices and, you know, what we're competing with. But 30 minutes a day, that's what we've committed to when we signed that code of conduct, 30 minutes a day of reading. And there's so much research about the benefit to that. So please take the time to read the Code of Student Conduct when you have the opportunity. And lastly, the PSAT is coming up. And I just want to really give kudos to Rita Vasquez for the tremendous work she's done, as well as Judy Vigu, for really working with our students to accelerate and perform and connecting them with Khan Academy. Because I know from personal experience in our family, the growth we saw after students entered their PSAT score into Khan or collaborated it, and I don't know all the details because it's a student responsibility to do that, but as a parent, I made sure that they took the time to practice. It's free, it's available, it's on Khan, and it paid off because now we're seeing acceptance letters for academic acceptance in areas and an improvement in that SAT score. So please take the time to check out Khan Academy. We've invested in this PSAT process, and we want to use it to our advantage as families. So I know it's kind of long-winded today, but I appreciate your time, and I thank you very much.
All good salient points. Ms. Cook?
All righty. I'm glad you mentioned the calendar, but we had a table for the school board at the College and Career Fair last night, and several people picked up the calendar, not only in English, but in Spanish as well. And so it was translated, and so is our fax little pamphlet that we have. So that was good, and I was thrilled that people were picking it up and looking for it, so every little bit helps. On October 2nd, I believe it was, you received an email from Tom Serra about the consortium. And for those of you that don't know, the consortium is 10 or 11 coastal school districts that all come together with like legislative items so that we can leverage the leadership at the state level with each of those counties to move things forward. It was brought to each district. They were to vote on it. Every single district approved it without any deletions at all, because we know if one school board doesn't approve a particular area of it, it's removed from our platform. So the platform that you've received is one that we can start working on, and you'll see how it actually ties in very, very closely with what our local school board platform is. Now, Dr. Grego touched on it. When we had our legislative meeting, Senator Brandes asked for us to prioritize our items. And rather than waiting until our next workshop and then trying to get it to him when, at that point, 2 or 3 weeks would have passed, Dr. Grego and I met, and at your seat, there is a piece of paper that says Pinellas County School Board 2020 Legislative Platform Priorities. This is a recommendation that we're making. We looked at the ones that we presented, our big ones that were our highlighted ones, and we put those in priority. Now, this is a recommendation, a suggestion, but I would like to have a vote on it today so that if we move things around, that's fine, but a final product that we walk away with in order to send it to our legislative delegation, again, so that we can begin working on it and they know what our priorities are. So, the first one is to increase teacher salaries in a meaningful, substantial manner in order to attract and retain highly effective teachers and address the growing teacher shortage. That would be the first recommendation. The second, enhance the investment and development appropriate high-quality early learning in the voluntary pre-K program to full-day programs, and revise the school readiness preschool application to permit funding for school day and after-school services for pre-kindergarten students. That we would just let me go through them all first, and then we come back to you, Ms. Lentino. Don't mean to interrupt you, but okay. And the third one would be appropriate $300,000 to Pinellas County Schools for summer career acceleration program to support rising juniors and seniors, and serve as a statewide model for enhancing access to student internships, apprenticeships, and career and technical education. And the fourth would be to appropriate funds to Pinellas County Schools for a state-of-the-arts professional development center, again, to serve as a model for teachers and leadership development and support. And the last one, increase the funding for the safe school allocation to support the full cost of the school safety requirements. So that's the recommendation, and, yeah.
Yes, I have a question about enhance the investment in developmentally appropriate, high-quality, early learning and voluntary pre-kindergarten VPK full-day programs. Revise school readiness preschool application to permit funding for school day and after-school services for pre-kindergarten students. The students that are going to be September 1st, they're going to be 4 years old. That date is when they roll over and they're going to be in the 5th grade. They're going to be in the 5 years old. So why aren't we going to have an education system that's going to support and enhance those students?
If a student is going to be 5 by September 1st, they can start school in
Right.
August, even though they're still 4 years old.
Right.
And then they can then move forward. So those would be our kindergartners.
Right.
We're looking at, this particular item is those children that aren't going to be
Right.
5 by that. So it would
Right.
be even 2, 3, 4-year-olds, but
Right.
we're looking mostly at 4-year-olds
Right.
getting ready to go into kindergarten. So they would be 4 by September 1st.
Right, and by September 1st, they would be 5 years old.
The ones that are going to be 5 by September 1st can enter kindergarten
Right.
in August,
Right.
even though they're still 4 years old.
Right, all right.
Okay?
I would just putting it out here. In light of the fact that we are not receiving any PICO funding or any construction dollars, and I may be remiss, but I haven't seen anything on any of the legislators' agenda to provide dollars for construction.
Right.
Would we want to consider switching out 4 and 5? Because safe school allocations is something that we're doing right now. We have put quite a bit of our funds with the safe school allocation to enhance and meet the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act. So I think that, for me, just my opinion, would be something more of a priority. Even though I want to see the state-of-the-art professional building, chances of us getting construction dollars to fully build and equip are like nil right now. So I would like to consideration, if possible, to just switch those two, because we could really use, if we could get them to fully fund safe schools, we could use those dollars we're currently allocating to go somewhere else.
Well, there were a couple of thoughts with that, and I'm not opposed to it. We can
That's
go
fine.
either way. A couple of thoughts were, the consortium, as well as a lot of other areas, are also pushing for the safe school money. And so we think that there'll be a lot of push and emphasis behind that. And the number 4, which is a state-of-art professional development, that's unique to Pinellas, and that's a public-private partnership, isn't it, Dr. Grego, that we were looking to do? Yeah.
Yeah, we originally, when we looked at this, number 5 was actually number 2.
Yeah.
And so we can move it up, however, we're gonna work, there were like 12 or 13 financial items, so.
Yeah.
What I don't want the board to think is that anything's falling off the table, it's not. We could certainly move the 5, because I'm right with you in terms
5
of
to
safe
4.
school allocation. Ms. Cook hit the nail on the head. They said, well, everyone's gonna look at that.
Right.
But if we want to validate
can move
that
it.
as a board, we could certainly move it up to, say,
I will
number
support
2,
the
so,
majority. I
yes,
just
whatever. We're gonna work, I'm gonna work all these issues.
Yeah.
To your point, Ms. Cook, I'm feeling as if it kind of almost the contrary, those specific items for Pinellas County might be better moved to the top, given that some of these items are, they're statewide, and we know that the other school boards are also pushing for those items, and while they're still our priority and they're still the utmost, our very specific things
right.
we're looking for on the Pinellas agenda, I feel like should be our top priority for Pinellas County, for our school system specifically. That's just my
That's
I
kinda
think
where
they
we
should be the
landed.
first priority.
Yes.
And that's fine. So if that were the case, number two, because number two is also Florida School Board Association, so that's statewide, and a couple of others. I'm willing to go with the majority. I just, I know when we go visit them, they'll say, well, what are your top 2 or 3? And then they try to align that with whatever it is that they're pushing for legislation. And then they try to align all of that with whatever it is the governor desires to push. And sometimes they meet in the middle, sometimes they go to opposite ends. So however we want to move majority, for the majority, I'm good with that.
Well,
Because it's still, we're still gonna talk
still-
about
We'll
all
still
of
look
our
at all
agenda,
5 of them, yeah.
But we're just giving him what he asked for, which was.
Exactly, exactly. So,
Do we have a motion to accept the 2020 legislative platform priorities as recommended?
I think there were some
Make a switch.
Oh, other
changes that
discussion.
you wanted. You know, you suggested
I'm good
switching
with-
4 and 5, and that's okay.
That's
We can do
just
that.
me.
Let's do that.
That's just
But I
me.
think there were others that,
No, it was just me and Lisa.
okay, all righty, all right.
So,
Well, if that's the case, then I'll make a motion that we accept this as presented.
do we have a second? Second?
I have a question here.
Call a question?
Enhance the investment in developmentally appropriate, high-quality, early learning and voluntarily pre-kindergarten VPK full-day programs. Increase teachers' salaries in a meaningful, sustainable manner in order to attract and retain highly effective teachers and address a growing teacher shortage. That should be the top list. That should be the top.
The
Well-
increasing teacher salaries is our number 1,
Right,
with VPK as number 2.
right. And that's 1, 2.
Uh-huh. Are you
No.
Are you good with that?
It's 1, and then this is 2.
correct?
And then what did you say?
I'm just going off of what, I'm sorry. Is it, okay. So I was going off of what Ms. Cook had said about if we're going to put prioritization, are we going to put prioritization on things that that all the school boards are asking for, or are we specifically aligning our order of importance to things that are only specifically for Pinellas County, which really on this list is, while they all apply to us, are things that are not going to apply to any other district are 3 and 4. So is that the priority, or is it the priority to align ourselves with what we know all of the school boards in the state, everyone is asking for higher teacher pay, and all of the school boards are going to be asking for safe schools allocation money, as well as the VPK programming. So if those 3 are the top priority, I think, statewide for all school boards, but 3 and 4 don't apply to anyone but Pinellas. So the question is, as a board, do we want to put our priorities to the things that are specific for us, or the things that we know are good for all the school boards?
Well, it seems like safe schools allocation to support the full cost of school safety requirements. That means, we really need to stand up, right?
It's whether we want to do what is good for statewide school boards, or are we aligning our just for Pinellas?
If I might.
Put on your mic. There we go.
Oh, sorry. I think that, I understand what you're saying about priorities, but I think it also sends the wrong message out if we don't make salaries a priority.
Right.
And I think that has to be number 1.
Absolutely.
If we, all that other stuff, maybe other districts want it, but, and it may all work out that way, but we have to keep, I think this is actually a good fit. The 4 and 5, they very, very important, and it is, specific to us, but I think that, I think we need to stay with the list we have. I think if we start messing around with 1 and 2. I think we get a lot of angst by the public and by teachers. So,
And the legislators, I think, that need
Right.
to know that this is a priority of ours
I
as
think
well.
But
we have to
honestly,
keep
number
selling-
5 would be top priority then in looking at it, because Safe Schools goes to everyone in the entire county and
Exactly.
state, so that should be number
they're
1
gonna,
then.
they're gonna allocate those funds anyway.
Okay, so let me do this, because we do have a lot of conversation, I wanna try and keep it corralled together. So the purpose and intent was for the dialogue, so we wanna keep it in order, and we want to be considerate of, each individual's perspective when it comes to how we rank these based on the request from Senator Brandeis. So I'm going to withdraw my original request to reverse 4 and 5. I'm taking that off the table, didn't get a second anyway, but I'm taking that off the table. So now the conversation would be Ms. Kane's request to look at selecting 3 and 4, since those things are unique to our district, and then everything else fall thereafter, with the thought that everybody around the state is asking for those other items, but those 2 things are specific to our legislative platform. Mr. Dudley's, that's what she said.
I was just putting it out there as what is the board's request as far as ordering them? Do
How we put
want
them in
to-
order.
You know, are we looking at what, because I really think number 5 is, of all the things, safe school allocation affects everyone in the county, everyone, employees, staff, students, that bus drivers, that is number 1, I think, priority for all of us, is keeping the schools safe. So if we were ranking it by order of school importance, number 5 certainly takes precedence. However, if we as a board are asking for this, my question was to the board, are we looking to, if we're going to our legislators and asking for things, are we going to go and ask for the same thing everyone else is asking for? Are we going with our specifics that are different? And 3 and 4 are the only 2 that no other school board is asking for. So that was my take on that.
And very good point. So what I would like to do, so that we remain in order, is if you would like to put that in the form of a motion, and if someone would like to second that, then we could move forward in that direction if you would like to. If the motion passes, if the motion fails, then we'll move on to Mr. Dudley's, his verbal, which is a motion. That's the call from the governor. Then we move on to Mr. Dudley's motion, which would be to leave it ranking as the same. So would you like to put that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Kane is putting in the form of a motion to have 3 and 4 become our 1 and 2s, and then 1 would become 3, 2 would become 4, and 5 would remain 5. Is there a second to that motion? Having no second to the motion dies for a lack of a second. Moving on to Mr. Dudley, would you like to make your request in the form of a motion that we maintain the 2020 legislative platform priorities as presented?
You just made the motion.
But he said it. Do we have a second to that? Do we have a second to that motion?
Yes, second. Or, no.
I can't make the motion. You made the motion.
I made the motion, so somebody else says I
second.
can't.
I can't second it.
We need somebody to second it.
Okay, so it's been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Do we have any that are opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now, allow me to say this. This does not mean that when we go up, whoever will be going, or if you call or go visit, that does not mean that when you go, you don't highlight those things that are specific to the district.
Right.
This is just presenting the senator with something so that if he would be so inclined to champion something, he knows what our priority is and could put a price tag with the request if he's so inclined. So I just want to make sure everyone.
Well, and this will be sent to our entire legislative delegation so that they all know what the priorities are. And as was said by Dr. Grego, as well, I hope I said it, we will be working on all of these. and making sure that they're aware of what is unique to Pinellas, but also that these really are important. Our teacher salaries really are
Right.
important. And with the Safe Schools allocation, we know we have to do the Safe School.
Right.
The Marjorie Stoneman Douglas School Safety Act is law. We must do that. So by having it as a number 5, it's not saying that we're not going to follow it. We will follow it, we'll just find the money.
Right.
But there is talk about the Safe School
Right.
funding going up too. So I think we can be very successful with some of these things. And I don't know that the priority is as important as here are our items,
Right.
even though we were asked to prioritize it. So I appreciate, I know this was a little messy and we would have had dialogue at a workshop,
Right.
but I appreciate you taking the time to do it now so that we can get it in their hands as soon as possible.
Yeah, good.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Dudley, you were next.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I just wanted to give a thank you to the entire school community, Pinellas County. The tragic death of Jacques Welch. We had the funeral service yesterday, and I just wanted to throw out some things that perhaps people don't know. That last week, every morning and every afternoon after practice, so it was a dinner, Pinellas County individual schools provided breakfast for the players and a dinner after their afternoon practice. Went on every day last week by individual schools in Pinellas County. And that's called a community, and I want to thank all of them for doing that. It's been a very trying, but you know, life goes on, and everybody understands that, and they're going on. Jacques' mother has been a rock through all this, and we're going to have a scholarship named in his honor, and just, well, we can go on, but just I want to thank the community for standing out. There was hundreds and hundreds of people who attended not only the wake and the funeral, but just at our football game Friday night, it was unbelievable. Dunedin High School really did a tremendous job. They had their the bagpipes came out and played Amazing Grace. Man, I'm telling you what, that was that the crowd was just in awe, and just, you know, it was just so special. And the kids, and that's what athletics is all about, and that's what school's about. These kids will never forget this last week. So I don't want to belabor the point. I just want to say thank you, and appreciate everything that is done for my alma mater.
Thank you, Mr. Dudley. I just have a couple of things. First, thank you for the birthday wishes. Today's my birthday, and I'm celebrating it with Pinellas County Schools, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Second, I do want to thank Dr. Grego, because actually he was the one that approached me about applying for the Green Garner Award. So when I got the information and read what I needed to fill out, I was like, whoa, I don't feel like I'm back in school. But I want to say thank you for asking me to consider applying. I want to thank Beth Herendine. I know I can be a pain. You know, you ask me for something, I write like a whole book, and she's got to fit it all on one page. So I want to thank you for doing that, and for all of the persons who wrote the number of letters of reference and support from Tallahassee all the way down to South Florida. So I want to thank all of those persons. I'm not going to name them because I may forget somebody, and I don't want to be in trouble with that. But it's just an honor to even be recognized as a finalist. So do I want to win? Yes. And I know that we will represent our district well. If not, it just is an honor. You know, for urban schools, it's a fabulous honor. So thank you. I had a chance to attend Bear Creek Elementary School's Family Lunch Day. It was a number of parents that came to have lunch with their scholars or grandkids or what have you. And it was really, really nice. So I enjoyed myself. I had a chance to stay for two since I have two grandkids over there. But it really gave me a chance to meet their teachers, see the classroom interaction, meet the cafeteria staff, and of course, spending a little bit of time with the principal and walking through the school. So it was really nice, and they're doing a really good job over there. I also attended their open house, and to hear all of the positive affirmations that are going on. The cafeteria was packed. People were standing outside. So that's always a good sign when you see that kind of camaraderie within a school community. I want to say thank you publicly to the Pinellas County delegation for the meeting that we had jointly with them. It was a very good, I thought, a very good joint meeting. We had a chance to share information. I love the way, the idea that the committee came up with having the video taping of each person, highlighting their topic, having the presentation, and then having the senators or the House members actually ask questions. I really appreciated that. I thought that was very good. So thank you to everyone who made that happen. I also want to talk about the PSAT because it's October 16th, and I've had a couple of pastors actually reach out to me and ask me, and that's why I contacted you, Dr. Grego, to say when is that date, because they're trying to really encourage the students about this. And so thank you so much for bringing that up, Dr. Carr, because it's a way to see diagnostically where that student is versus where they need to be, if there needs to be any movement, and start working with them right now on it. So I was excited about that. Garrison Jones Elementary School was highlighted on Bay News 9 regarding their program with Spanish immersion all throughout their school. And for me to see that and see the students interacting one-on-one, I thought that was really, really wonderful. So kudos and hats off to all of our schools, but for this day, kudos to Garrison Jones Elementary School with their dual language program. Congratulations to the Lakewood Spartans. I don't know if anyone saw the game on last week, but it was like a professional football game out there. But they're moving on to the semifinals. So I have my Lakewood shirt. I messed up. I went to one of their games and I had on a Gibbs Gladiator shirt. And so the coaches got me. They let me come down on the field, and then they got me. So I have my Lakewood shirt. So I will make sure I am in appropriate attire. I am excited about, I won't be able to come to the ribbon cutting because I'll be at the girlfriend's induction ceremony at Largo High School, but I'm excited about that because these are young ladies who are either working on their purpose or working towards finding whatever their purpose is. And while I'm the speaker, students oftentimes remind me of my purpose. And so it's not just me pouring into them, the students pour into me all the time. So I'm really excited about that, and I want to thank Dr. Valerie Brim and others for selecting me for that. Students participated in the MAP assessments, and it's a chance to kind of see where your student is as they move forward, particularly those that are in the third grade that will be taking the FSA. So parents, please look in your students' planner that they bring home. Read those notes from the teachers because they wrote little notes so you could see where your student is and what's going on with them. And please respond back to them. Those notes aren't just for them to tell you, it's for you to say yes, and I agree with the plan. I'm supportive of the after-school tutorial support that my student has been selected for because they need maybe some assistance in certain areas. So parents, please read those planners, sign off on them, respond back to your teacher so that they can really be of assistance to your scholars. And I believe that is all that I have for today. Just a final note on that. For the Jaquez Welch family, I want to say thank you to Mayor Rick Kreisman. He allowed them to have their repast at the Coliseum. There were a number of caterers and minority-owned businesses that provided the food and the desserts, decorate, set everything up so the family did not have to worry about anything. So I just want to, I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to them for that. Nikki Capehart was there. She actually gave comments on behalf of the mayor. He wasn't able to be there at the repast. But thank you for that. And then I do know at the funeral services, there were a number of electeds who were there as well and spoke. But again, just the outpouring for that family. But please remember, now that all of that focus and attention is over, this is when the family really will need support, when it's quiet, when Jaquez is not walking down the hall to get ready for school, when all of the people that have been stopping by and coming over to communicate, and then for the daughter that still attends Northeast and the younger siblings, this is the time when they really will need that additional support. So thank you, Coach Dudley, for all the things that you've done, being in support of the family and the school as your alma mater. And again, thank you to all of those vendors who just showed up massively and did a wonderful job, so that took all of the worry off of the family and they could just relax for a moment and reflect and think about Jaquez. Okay, so thank you all so very much. Having no other board comments that I see.
I have a.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't press your light, so.
Okay, so I have developed a, a relationship with the principal Wicket at Cross Bayou Elementary School. The school still has an auditory placement in the school, and it has a new and improved center. I have traveled, I've been going up and down, 66th Street, and then I've made a right turn, and I visited the school. And the school has exhibited a newly remodeled auditory section. There's no more going into the other schools, other, you know, what is it? The building. those buildings that are no longer in effect. So we have had an exceptional auditory building that we would like to have our 3 auditory people that go to different schools that all around the country, and we would like to have those children that are from 0 to 4 or 5 to really listen and learn and have an example for listening and learning, because they don't understand what the listening and learning is all about. It has a new and improved center, and we're very grateful, and we're very acknowledgeable of that mission. I attended the Alyssa Nelson Elementary School opening. I was late because the school board didn't have the address on the on the paper. And John Hopkins Academy of Pinellas School was hosted by Mr. Shedrick. Azalea Middle School and Morgan Fitzgerald Schools were all attended. I attended the Truancy Courtroom 14. Mrs. Irizarry, the judge that was there, Mrs. Irizarry, she was very impressed with all the students that were coming to her courtroom, and she has made a motion to have a October whatever the date is, to have an exceptional interest in her students. Now, some of these students don't come, some do, some don't, some don't come. But some of these students will show up. And, you know, it's especially heartwarming that these children will come up and they'll face the judge again. But the courtroom of Mrs. Arizari says that her position is she's going to have to make it's going to be either in Wednesday morning and Thursday afternoon. So we're going to have to see what's going on with that. and to, solidify that, that coming up. So coming up will be the ICAI open house, and that's going to be across the street from the police station up in Clearwater. And starting right now will be the luncheon at Higgins Hall in Tampa. And that's my report.
Thank you very much. We do have, I think, a couple of board requests, one or two maybe.
Yes, Madam Chair, I recorded the one board request from Ms. Long to have a potential workshop topic for us to examine the methods that we use to get the word out to parents about both parent and community events.
Okay, thank you. And so we will have our school board evaluation following the public comment at the end. And then we have something that we all need to do, so I think we're pretty excited about that. I'm not going to say anything because that's going to be a secret. It's not anything related to the sunshine, anybody. So I would like to, at this time, go ahead and adjourn our meeting. And then, Ms. Simonetti, do we have any individuals registered to speak, please?
Board members and Dr. Grego, we have 5 speakers this morning under general public comments. Our first 2 are Lenora Faulkner and Janice Metz.
Good morning, Ms. Flowers and honorable school board members. God bless you in your work promising to educate 100% of our precious children. I am Lenore Faulkner, Florida professional educator for 52 years, certified in biology, chemistry, mathematics, science, health education, middle schools, and the gifted. In 1967, graduated at the University of Florida, and I am a STEAM educator. My students' chemistry magazines were on the internet in 1998. Thank you. In Bible class Sunday, this Sunday, after given a pink ribbon, I told the class in October 1998 I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 7 of my lymph nodes. On the internet, it says it's 100% fatal, but I'm here. I was in a clinical trial out of Memphis in March of '99 after activating my bone marrow to make new white blood cells. They killed all my white blood cells. I was home without white blood cells for 5 days. Thank you, Jesus, 21 years. From what I understand, the results were not good at Morton Plant. My oncology from the Mayo Clinic, his wife, the head oncology nurse, retired, and my stem cell nurse moved to Pennsylvania. I've been home alone for 21 years. I thank the 30 Pinellas Park School educators who walked for me and the entire school that prayed for me. Prayer is the only answer to American chaos and world chaos. My life has been a tale of 2 counties, Pinellas and Hillsborough. 3 months after my stem cell transplant, my 26-year-old son had an anoxic brain injury. He was without oxygen for a long time. He was transferred to Tampa. I had to make many phone calls. I finally got permission from my oncology team to go to the hospital. I was bald with lymphedema in my right arm, which would double and triple in size. I arrived at 2 a.m. The diagnosis was heartbreaking and traumatic. He was brain dead. I was devastated. However, I called his name and loudly said, "Inhale, exhale." Hundreds of times he obeyed the command as it registered on the ventilator, 100%. I chose not to speak to the doctors who had the wrong diagnosis. They also had the wrong name on his wristband. It didn't matter because he didn't have insurance. He was the pulmonary patient. They refused to treat him for 6 weeks. He's at the hospital for 20 years. I go over there 5 days a week. God bless you.
Thank you, Ms. Faulkner. Hi, Ms. Metz.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Janice Metz. I'm here with FAST. I want to say that School Board Member Long and FAST were on the same board, on the same line today about communication. Our goal this year is to have open dialogues and good communication with the school board, and we are trying to do that. We started in early September to try to make appointments with the school board members, and a few have responded, but we are trying to bring to our people on October 28, when we have an annual assembly, some progress on restorative practices. We want to get it right from your standpoint as well as what we hear, and we believe that that open communication would be good. So for those maybe who have not responded, if you could respond before the 28th, we would have your thoughts to bring back with us. That would be very good. Along that same line, last year, the Pride Awards were scheduled at Ruth Eckerd Hall on the same day that the FAST Nehemiah Assembly was scheduled. And we know that you had to make that 12 months in advance. So this year, at the beginning of August, I did send a certified letter to Dr. Grego asking when the Pride Awards were going to be, because we were in the position of having also to make our Nehemiah action. We welcome and value school board members attending the our Nehemiah action, and we also know that it's important for you to be there for your public for the Pride Awards. So if we could please know, I don't know if you have set a date for that, but we would certainly welcome any information that you have about that. The other thing is we would like to be able to hear about the implementation of restorative practices in the schools. And it's very, very important for us because we think that will be the way to change the behavior on a lasting basis if it works well. So we would welcome any information you can give us on dates, and if you could meet with us, we would welcome it.
Thank you, Ms. Metz, and it's always a pleasure to have you come. We appreciate the fact that you come and you have a communication with us and you share information with us and vice versa. Two things. The first is I do plan on attending your event, so I plan on being there. Even if we have a conflict in dates, I do plan on coming, because last year, as chair, I wanted to be with the students and it was a conflict. The other thing I will be sending you is, I'll be sending you, because remember we talked about the amount it would cost to do what it is that you're asking is around $3 million. And I think you've heard some of the dialogue today about how we're trying to figure out how we'll pay for certain things. So I'm also going to provide to you, to the address I have for FAST, kind of the breakout that I've been able to come up with the costs for the conferencing requests that you have. And then maybe when we meet, we can, kind of talk about that and talk about how FAST can help fund that.
Information? Where do they get their information?
That's not for us to discuss here right now. You have to ask them that. I'm just responding to Ms. Metz. So I like to share that. So kind of like how we partner with the Education Foundation. They had a couple of things that they wanted to see us do, and then they actually paid for it, and that's how we were able to make that happen. So I want to share my information with you as well so we can have a good conversation about it. But thank you so much, Ms. Metz, for coming. Thank you for all you do.
Our next two speakers are Judy McGinnity and Billy Williams.
Good morning. My name is Judy McGinnity. I'm here with the FAST organization this morning. Over the past few months, we have visited these meetings to ask for a full implementation of restorative practices. one that includes those three critical and missing pieces we have outlined in past presentations. One of the reasons we hear from this board is that full implementation of restorative practices isn't feasible because of cost. Our research indicates that to implement RP, restorative practices, fully in 10 schools, 10 as a pilot program, would cost less than approximately 0.5% of the total operating budget. With the Safer, Saner School Model, IIRP would create individual and specific programs tailored to each school and implement with ongoing support and coaching over a 2-year period. This would provide appropriate support for teachers and the ability to sustain restorative practices long term. This is an investment we feel we must make. We are suggesting that the county implement fully in 10 schools, then see the real impact, compare and evaluate with real data. This is the way to build upon the groundwork that has already been laid in a responsible way that will ensure targeted programs with sustainable success. I thank you for your time.
Billy Williams? Our next speaker is Mark Clutho.
Mark Clutho, Largo. October? No, October begins with an O. That's an October. You were a teacher? Oh boy, this place is pathetic. And so what did I hear from those students at Tarpon High School? They didn't have to swim. Well, last month, up there at Unona, they just did the sidewalk, and the water on the sidewalk this deep. If the students wanted to be dry, they'd have to walk out on Indian Rocks Road. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. You people are good. Really good. Yeah. Were they supposed to bring water wings to school? And here are the students that went over there to the Largo City Hall. They carried signs, some with playful lines. Our planet's hotter than young Leonardo DiCaprio. I think that guy's old enough to be their father. Oh, yeah. And what did they say? Dino Kimmis says the planet is dying, and in his travels he had the opportunity to see a lot of different environments. Everything we are doing is progressively getting worse. In the past 10, 20 years, species have been dying off like never before. He said the world is seeing a mass extinction type of event. No. Yeah. See, that's what you're doing with your stupid school buildings. Yeah. It's in your lap. It's in your lap. They should have been here, not at Largo City Hall. That Largo High School, a monument to ignorance. That's what it is, a monument to ignorance. Dumb, about as dumb as you can get. It's malfeasance.
Thank you very much. No more speakers. I don't want to leave this meeting, I don't want to end this meeting with anything negative being said about the students who came here from Tarpon Springs High School. I think they did an absolutely phenomenal job. I appreciate the fact that they have the courage to come and stand before us and speak quite prolifically, if I may say so myself, about their school, what's going on in their community, and yes, to even share that they've had some issues and concerns with some flooding and having to walk through water. We appreciate that because those are individuals who are our future, and those are persons who will be our leaders, and some of them may choose to be in these seats. And so I don't want to end this day with having any negative thoughts about those students. For the students that come from SR&R from all across all 19 high schools, please know that you are appreciated. And I want to leave you with a positive thought because it's my birthday. And I want to leave you with a positive thought. Positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. Thank you all so much for coming today. Have a wonderful remainder of your week.